All you're saying is that your gripe with the movie is that it had an all-female cast, which is a really dumb analysis. Okay, that's your main gripe with a movie that sucks ass, is that the cast was all female. Really? That's your main gripe with it. That's the main issue that you take with it, right? So we have another video suggestion. If you would like to leave suggestions for videos in the Discord, you can. You got to join the Discord first, of course. And you can leave your suggestions in content suggestions, and then I may go over it, like this one here. This one is called Proof That Woke is Ending by a sir called David Cullen. And I don't know much about David Cullen. I think I've seen his avatar around a little bit. His channel is dedicated to movie reviews, film critique, discussion of TV shows, pop culture, video games in my usual caustic and sardonic manner. Should be fun. Should be an interesting time. I asked for a short video to go over here at the end of stream, just because I was still feeling like I got some juice left in me. So here's the juice. Here we go.
So today we've got something a bit different, a refreshing story for a change. We're going to be talking about the failure of Madame Web, but more specifically the response by Dakota Johnson, the primary star of the movie. And I think this story is illustrative of something very significant, but I'll get to that in a moment. First of all, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you'd like to support The Dave Cullen Show, head on over to my subscribe star. It's linked below, and it's very much appreciated. So this article is from Bounding into Comics. Madame Web star Dakota Johnson slams greed, ineptitude of Hollywood execs. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms.
Oh, this is about AI art. Yeah, I agree. No, base point.
In continuing to hold nothing back regarding her disappointment with how spectacularly Marvel and Sony botched her...
Or no, I don't think it's about AI art. I got that wrong. This is about, like, okay, people are going to like this, and that's why we're going to make it. You know, like, this will do great for the ratings, basically. Sorry, I got that wrong.
Algorithms. In continuing to hold nothing back regarding her disappointment with how spectacularly Marvel and Sony botched her silver screen superhero debut, Madame Web star Dakota Johnson has made it clear that it is Hollywood's own failures, not those of the audience, that are responsible for its industry's ongoing decline.
That's true.
Asked by the outlet's Charlotte Owen as to whether she was particularly bothered by the near-universal panning of Madame Web, as of writing, even with the site's system being so heavily skewed that an absolutely scorching review of a given film can be confirmed as fresh, if a critic offers it even the barest of compliments, it currently holds a 12% rotten rating among critics and a likewise terrible 57% audience score on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes. Johnson admitted, "Unfortunately, I'm not surprised that this has gone down the way it has." Pressed by Owen as to what led her to see the proverbial...
Okay, at a certain point, you're just reading the article word for word. Like, add some commentary. Come on.
Writing on the web ahead of the film's release, the actress explained, "It's so hard to get movies made."
Either that or I'm just being a piece of shit and this is actually not that long and I have ADHD.
And in these big movies that get made, and it's even starting to happen with the little ones, which is what's really freaking me out, decisions are being made by committees, and art does not do well when it's made by committee. So indeed, the film scores are very low, and the film is a massive box office failure, but I cannot remember the last time that a star of a movie currently in the cinema that's universally panned and failing financially has criticized the film. Usually, if a cast member or a director criticizes a film that they've worked on and laments its failure, it's something they do long after the film has left cinemas. Even Sydney Sweeney's joke on SNL about how you definitely didn't see her in Madame Web, I think this shows us that the cast feel emboldened to be honest about how they feel about the movie. Even certain mainstream media outlets aren't defending the film with the same level of gusto that they would have done, say, a couple of years ago. And we've seen previously that films like this, they get a staunch defense and audiences are blamed as being...
Films like this, I don't know anything about the film. So, like, I don't know if I can make a judgment call on this. Like, what's the film about even? What is it called? Madame Web. Madame Web. Action sci-fi. Oh, it's a Spider-Man film about girl Spider-Man. It was directed by S.J. Clarkson from a screenplay she co-wrote with Claire Parker. So what, it's a bad movie that stars a girl and they're like, well, it's woke and that's why people don't like it? What's like the real criticisms people are giving for it? Madam Web Critic reviews 553. There is very little that I can add to the reviews on here that have explained what is so wonderful about The Godfather so well. Wait, what? This is The Godfather. What? Madam Web must have been written by a 6-year-old. The narrative of the story doesn't make sense. The sequence, none of it works. Just driving around in a stolen cab around town and to the airport, the sudden trip to Peru, and the perfect timing of her return to fend off the bad guy, just so bad. Really unbelievable how bad the writing is. And then the cringy acting on top of it is just so disappointing. Hopefully all the criticism will help those who need the change in Hollywood. I hated it because it was awful. I may have liked it because if I was 12 and didn't know any better, but having seen the movies with plots and good dialogue that move along at a good pace, I can tell you that this is not one of those. Yikes, spoilers below. If see this, you must. I did laugh out loud a few times, although it was because I was so awful I was amused. There's so much exposition for one thing. The movie basically tries to hold your hand and explain to you the most obvious things. The pigeon didn't die after all. We're watching the movie. We can see that it didn't die. But then the bad guy enters the train car with the suit and no shoes. A little background might have been helpful there, but we got none. None of this is like criticizing the wokeness of it, like quote unquote wokeness. So I just don't understand.
You know, toxic ists and isms, all the usuals.
Secondary Spider-Man.
There's a time not long ago where the mainstream access media...
So basically what I'm getting from this is like he's going to say that, you know, people would typically say that like they're misogynist for not liking the film because it stars a woman or something like that. And that's not what critics are saying. Critics are saying that the film sucks.
Media would be tripping over themselves to defend the movie because it has an all-female cast.
There you go. See, told you.
But not really in this case. And one has to wonder what's changed. Well, I think it's cultural. There's nowhere to hide anymore. There's no excuse that can be made. Utterly mediocre, generic, paint-by-numbers Hollywood action movies are being called out.
Keep huffing the hopium.
And it's because it's become easier to criticize woke. So the article continues, elaborating on her argument. Johnson continued, films are made by a filmmaker and a team of artists around them. You cannot make art based on numbers and algorithms. My feeling has been for a long time that audiences are extremely smart and executives have started to believe that they're not, she added. Audiences will always be able to sniff out BS, even if films start to be made with AI. Humans aren't going to effing want to see those.
Yeah, we defend good movies.
I have to say, I have major respect for this woman after she said that. And this is clearly someone who has taken a mature and well thought out position on this. She's got...
It's like, okay, it's like the Disney remakes, right? Like they always get mad that like, okay, like I just recently watched a video from like a year ago. From the time that they were mad about like the Ariel release because there was a black woman as Ariel. And it's like nobody who saw the movie, like nobody who is a fan of The Little Mermaid and went and saw the movie and thought it was bad, thought that it was bad because the main actress was a black woman. Okay? That's not people's main gripe with it. Their gripe with those movies is not that there are black people in it. Their gripe, or women, their gripe is that it's a bad movie. Like, it's not well written. It's not like a good recreation of the original. There's no point. It's just a money grab. It's a blatant money grab. That's what people are upset about, not wokeness. Okay? Madam Web as a movie was only made so Sony can keep the rights to Spider-Man. There's an agreement with Marvel that as long as Sony makes a Spider-Man movie every 5 years and 9 months, so they can keep the film rights for the character. Okay, well, there you go. That's why it's bad. And it would have been just as, like, poorly received if the cast had been bad. Like, if it were Sir Web or whatever. Like it. Okay.
Respect for audiences, and I think as a result she'll get respect from audiences. So kudos to Dakota Johnson for that. And we've discussed the effect of AI on filmmaking and how that could only further stifle the creative process. So I think she's on point there again. She's obviously very much aware of what's going on. Now the article continues. As for how she felt starring in such a disaster of a film, Johnson ultimately admitted to Owen, but it was definitely an experience for me to make that movie. I had never done anything like it before. I probably will never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. And I know that now, she playfully concluded. But sometimes in this industry, you sign on to something and it's one thing. And then as you're making it, it becomes a completely different...
Yeah, thank you, Roman Omen. If anything, it's a point about how companies can make capitalist trash and try to sell it to progressives by shoehorning an alternate actor into the film. No, that's a great point. So these people are mad about capitalism. They're mad that capitalism like demands garbage, you know? That's what people are mad about. Like they thought that this would sell well. That's why they made it the way that they did. They thought it would sell well to audiences, and it didn't. So you're mad about capitalism, not wokeism. Thank you for that point.
Different thing.
Very salient.
And you're like, wait, what? So that suggests to me that she's obviously not happy with the end product. She must have expected Madam Web to be a far better film than it turned out to be. So you can't blame her for being disappointed. And it says, but it was a real learning experience. And of course, it's not nice to be part of something that's ripped to shreds, but I can't say that I don't understand. So again, it's refreshing to hear an actress or actor speak so frankly and in such a reasonable way. Again,
but why did she say that it's bad? Like, what are the reasons she said it's bad? You are mad at the company, not because there was an all-female cast, but because they tried to sell you bullshit. Companies try to sell you bullshit all the time. That's called capitalism, man. You're mad about capitalism.
In recent years, films like this would have received much greater support from the mainstream and the filmmakers. It would have been defended as being stunning and brave for having a groundbreaking all-female cast.
Wasn't the Ghostbusters movie, like, really poorly received? Like the all-female Ghostbusters movie? 2.5. It's like exactly the same. Exactly the same. And that's from 2016. That's almost a decade ago, man. Like, what time period are you talking about? Like, people were saying Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was woke. 4.8. What's up with that? That one has a trans flag in it. What's up with that? Come on. Like, I don't understand the disconnect here. What do you mean woke is dying? This was released in... Wait, Into the Spider-Verse was from 2018? Wasn't there a later one? Was it really 2018? Jeez. Anyway, you guys get my point. If it's a good movie, it'll get good ratings. If it's not a good movie, it won't. Typically.
Work anymore. That energy is gone now.
It's Across the Spider-Verse, thank you.
And audiences have seen through it, and they're fed up of it.
Okay, just to be fair, Across the Spider-Verse. 2023, 4.3. There you go. 4.3. That's all you need.
So, as a result, the film is just being judged on its quality and the story, its originality, and it's been found to be lacking in those departments.
Unlike Spider-Verse.
The fact that the cast are speaking their minds in this way, while the film is still in the cinema, possibly reflects a change in the zeitgeist, which is that there's a move away from the stock standard woke narrative that's usually come to the defense of many Hollywood superhero movies.
No, what it says is that Hollywood is selling you garbage, okay? And that's a problem with capitalism, not with wokeism. Come on, man.
And a belief by audiences that it's ending. Even some people in the films don't want to be associated with woke anymore. So the cultural shift...
All you're saying is that your gripe with the movie is that it had an all-female cast, which is a really dumb analysis, okay? That's your main gripe with a movie that sucks ass, is that the cast was all female? Really? That's your main gripe with it. That's the main issue that you take with it, right? Because if that's not the case, you know, how do you describe movies with alternate casting that actually have good ratings? Okay? Like I said, Across the Spider-Verse, 4.3 stars. All right? And people got mad at it for being woke because it had a trans flag in the background. And it had a girl Spider-Man. And it had a black Spider-Man. And people are trying to call it woke. All the meanwhile, it's got a fantastic ratings. And that's just from last year. So this is very inconsistent. Yeah, capitalism cloaking itself in wokeness. Exactly, Roman Omen. Thank you.
Is taking place, and I think the writing is on the walls. It feels like woke has permeated so many facets of modern life.
What is woke? What do you mean by that?
Intolerable for people. And I think at best, it has another 18 months or so ahead of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you.
Ugh, God, you're just mad at capitalism, man. I can't stand these people. It's like you get so close to understanding and then you just drop the ball at the end zone, you know, right before the end zone. It's not wokeness, man. Wokeness is not ruining your life. Capitalism is. It's always been capitalism all the time. Permeates everything in your life. It makes things shit. It makes things garbage. And it makes you upset. But then they trick you by making you think that it's wokeism. You know? And you're falling for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.